pieces, Speaking in Tongues by Zadie Smith. Hello. This voice I speak with these days, this English voice with its rounded vowels and consonants in more or less the right place, this is not the voice of my childhood. I picked it up in college along with the unabridged Clarissa and a taste for porn. Maybe this fact is only what it seems to be, a case of bold social climbing. But at the time, I genuinely thought this was the voice of lettered people, and that if I didn't have the voice of lettered people, I would never truly be lettered. A braver person, perhaps, would have stood firm, teaching her peers a useful lesson by example. Not all lettered people need to be of the same class nor speak identically. I went the other way, partly out of cowardice and constitutional eagerness to please, but also because I didn't quite see it as a straight swap of this voice for that. My own childhood had been the story of this and that combined, of the synthesis of disparate things. It never occurred to me that I was leaving London for Cambridge. I thought I was adding Cambridge to London. This new way of talking to that old way. Adding a new kind of knowledge to a different kind I already had. And for a while now, that's how it was. At home, during the holidays, I spoke with my old voice. And in the old voice seemed to feel and speak things that I couldn't express in college, and vice versa. I felt a sort of wonder at the flexibility of the thing, like being alive twice. But flexibility is something that requires work if it is to be maintained. Recently, my double voice has deserted me for a single one, reflecting the smaller world into which my work has led me. And I'll stop there. This is a poem I wrote in response to her speech where she read part of that essay. It's called Invisible Voice. The pain in my throat is guilt, she said, atop a pedestal from under the protection of a turban, an apology for being alive and well. Is it the way it sits on my voice like a stone swallowed hard, like a colossal pill that I refuse to take into my body, like all the other things I refuse to take into my body? Survivalist guilt when writers find words that speak to all their stories, words to give voice, silence the ventriloquist, words that channel vengeful pain in a stream of voice. Guilt is not a weapon that combats power, but a means to feed it. The words are not strewn, the voice is not scattered. Maybe you heard me wrong. It was indivisible voice. This is The Joy of Writing by Wisława-Szymborska. I don't know if I'm saying her last name right, but... Why does this written doe bound through these written woods for a drink of written water from a spring whose surface will Xerox her soft muzzle? Why does she lift her head? Does she hear something? Perched on four slim legs, borrowed from the truth, she pricks up her ears beneath my fingertips. Silence, this word also rustles across the page and parts the boughs that I have sprouted from the word woods. Lying in wait, set to pounce on the blank page, are letters up to no good. Clutches of clauses so subordinate that they'll never let her get away. Each drop of ink contains a fair supply of hunters equipped with squinting eyes behind their sights, prepared to swarm the sloping pen at any moment, surround the doe, and slowly aim their guns. They forget that what's here isn't life, other logs, black on white obtained. The twinkling of an eye will take as long as I see, and will, if I wish, divide into tiny eternities, full of bullets stopped in mid-flight. Not a thing will happen unless I say so. Without my blessing, not a leaf will fall, not a blade of grass will bend beneath that little hoof's full stop. Is there then a world where I rule absolutely on fate, a time I bind with chains of signs, and existence become endless at my bidding? The joy of writing, the power of preserving, revenge of a mortal hand. Just wanted to say thanks to Hannah and Elizabeth for inviting me to do this. I do have a couple more, but I don't want to be greedy with time. So
That's fine.
Is that okay?
Fine, yes.
Okay. Right. This last one is second to last. It's a short one by Arundhati Roy. She's an Indian writer. It's called Never to Forget. To love, to be loved, to never forget your own insignificance, to never get used to the unspeakable violence and the vulgar disparity of life around you. To seek joy in the saddest places, to pursue beauty to its lair, to never simplify what is complicated or complicate what is simple. To respect strength, never power, above all to watch, to try and understand. To never look away, and never, never to forget. This last one I wrote recently. It's a true story. It's called No Need for a Map in Space. In my father's dream, I was flying an airplane. No, a rickety glider in the open skies, while he followed below in a van, shouting up at me that I was lost, like the kite he could no longer control, like the dog whose leash finally snapped, barking back, "It's okay, I've got a map." But what we both forgot is how the universe works. Make a wish, take a breath, and just let go.